NASA was transmitting images delivered by the Soho spacecraft. In one particular part of the video feed, there was a peculiar square-like object that covered a small part of the sun. The reports detailed that it seemed or looked like it was a larger vessel, and that it could have been within the sun's vicinity to extract energy from its photosphere. Other analysts conclude that it was a mere pixel glitch, an artifact anomaly caused by certain imperfections in the transmitted visual data.
There was no glitch.
Some UFO.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Anubis here, and we are here to do a reaction on the top 10 ways NASA is hiding aliens. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I know for sure that they got some aliens around here. Come on, we in this big old galaxy, and people think we the only people around here. Come on, but that's just my opinion. That's all I'm saying. But right here, we about to hop into this video and see what they talk about.
The premier space organization of the United States.
Right.
Collectively, they've discovered a lot about space and the cosmos. Indeed, all of its contributions are now a well-known part of history. Or are they? Many believe they are purposefully hiding secrets from us. Like
well, they been doing that.
Aliens.
That ain't nothing new.
Some sort of mass hysteria, along with more nuanced and possibly sinister reasons. Let's give these skeptics the benefit of the doubt by discussing the 10 most likely ways NASA may be hiding alien life from us.
Amazing!
Big shout out to Be Amazed.
Zero Return Policy Part 1. At the height of the Cold War from 1969 to 1972, in just 3 short years, the United States launched 7 missions to the moon and never went back. After Apollo 17, never returned.
Why is that?
The Apollo program stopped to an abrupt halt. They say it's because of national budget restrictions, and analysts point to waning support for moon missions. But others claim that NASA actually discovered something, and that maintaining a human presence there would eventually reveal the truth. A number of alleged claims and so-called documents have presented the possibility that astronauts have actually discovered the remains of alien structures and settlements on the moon. Most of these describe a lunar base, with several photos pointing to the possible sites of these structures. Other related reports also show suggestive transcripts, as well as certain strange incidences like Buzz Aldrin's UFO, and the music heard by Apollo 10 astronauts en route there.
Boy, that sure is weird music.
Indeed, it was very peculiar that the Apollo program, supposed to last up to 20, was ultimately cancelled. No humans have ever physically returned there ever since, keeping the conspiracy of NASA's cover-up of anything there still alive.
Yeah, because they had something out there.
Conspiracy buffs would agree that we didn't even arrive there in the first place. Number 9. Searching for the wrong place. At the beginning of the 20th century, Mars became the subject of intense fascination by astronomers.
For what reason?
It was even believed at one point that another civilization lived there, at least up until the first flyby successfully revealed just how barren the red planet really was. The Viking landers, which arrived on Mars in 1976, had many objectives, but one particularly
did that way back in the day
needed to carry out was to search for any signs of biological processes or organic molecules on the red planet. As it turned out, the Viking program showed negative results, ultimately proving that life never existed on Mars. The issue with the Viking landers was that even though the analysis was accurate,
can you even much believe NASA these days?
Where it landed, NASA deliberately had no means at the time to develop rovers or any surface-traveling robotic probe, since those missions were pretty much dress rehearsals to know more about the planet's surface. Thus, it's remained a possibility that NASA just never searched in the right place. Even today, with transmissions to the rovers taking as much as 40 minutes to send back and forth, we may never know if they really did arrive at the exact location to find evidence of primitive life.
Man, they probably did. They just hiding it from us.
Denial. NASA's been generally open to the public when it comes to their missions. However, when there are opportunities for details to remain unconfirmed, there seems to be quite the tendency for them to lean towards secrecy. Such is the case when NASA publicly declined any supposed reports about its plans for disclosure on the discovery of alien life during mid-2017.
And see, that's the thing right there. That's
circulating at the time that
they always trying to play the game with the
contact with alien life. Reports even stated that the hacker group Anubis were involved in spreading the news about this imminent disclosure. NASA, of course, in its best interests, never confirmed these claims. Then again, there are more bizarre cases, such as those allegations of child and labor abuse on the aforementioned red planet, which NASA would very much be obliged to deny. Number 7. Obscuring natural phenomena. Going back to the red planet, what better way to hide any potential discoveries on Mars than with a natural event that could conveniently blanket all evidence? This certainly was the case when NASA's Mariner 9 orbiter arrived on Mars. As the probe reached the planet and went into orbit around it in November 1971, the planet was suddenly engulfed within a very wide blanket of fine Martian particles. The dust storm literally lasted for months until it finally cleared on January 1972, allowing Mariner 9 to at long last conduct its mission properly. Was it a coincidence that Mariner 9 happened to be the very first successful orbiter? The very first one to arrive at a time during the Martian season planet-wide dust storm? Perhaps. But if not, it is the perfect opportunity to hide any evidence of alien contact while showing...
You right about that.
I don't know how many times I have to tell you, I hate this show.
Perfect opportunity to hide any evidence of alien contact while showing direct evidence of a legitimate reason for the hampered space mission. Is it a practice that lives on today? Nobody knows. But if any floating bells happen to be on Mars, NASA would most likely hold on to this type of convenience. Number 6. Delayed confirmation. Dyson spheres, you know, those fictional megastructures that can house an entire star. Some scientists think Tabby's star, also known as KIC 8462852, share strange characteristics similar to one. The bummer is that NASA has never confirmed or denied these claims. Sure, they're technically and logically right to do so, but it may simply be a ploy, a delaying tactic
like I said before,
NASA
be playing all of us
for the last few years. Observations of exoplanets usually require long-term observations. The dimming of a star to detect surrounding planets requires a predictable frequency. Therefore, you need to observe the dimming on at least a number of occasions, preferably over well-timed intervals. Since the dimming of Tabby's star has neither the regularity nor the predictability of a typical star system, all of these are thrown out of the window. Confirmation can basically be delayed indefinitely, and that includes disclosure. Besides, NASA would promptly just dismiss the existence of these alien megastructures anyway, should any first sign of an alternative explanation arise.
That's why they call NASA never a straight answer.
If you can't delay,
they never give a straight answer.
If there's no situation where the public can simply sit and wait for an answer to arrive, the next best thing is to avoid them when there's something that can be just as convincing. When NASA was transmitting a video feed that showed part of the Earth's North Pole last 2016, the stream was evidently interrupted suddenly by the apparent switching of the video to static images. Incidentally, this was at a precise moment when something was about to happen at the North Pole. While the Hollow Earth claims were certainly a bit out of whack, the timing of the event was indeed quite peculiar and suspicious. Why would NASA even try to cover up what seems to be a simple meteorological event? Unless, of course, something was actually happening at the time of the interruption. Coincidental technical issues are of course the go-to remedy to dismiss any crazy ideas, but the fact remains that the entire fiasco seemed all too precise.
Oh man, you already know something was about to go down.
That
you
NASA
already know that.
To not want the public to
That's
witness.
crazy.
Number 4. Sworn to secrecy. Why report if it can be swept under the rug? NASA has had their own share of UFO sightings over decades, and not just your average backyard shaky camera type. These reports were made and relayed by professional astronauts during their missions. Although most of the sightings speak of typical unusual lights and shapes, there are quite a few reports that are almost perfect in detail, and are even independently confirmed by other sources. Eugene Cernan, part of the crew that flew the final mission to the moon via Apollo 17, spoke in an interview about the subject in a 1973 Times article. He stated that he firmly believed the remote possibility that what they saw were actually extraterrestrial entities. This revelation alone already hinted strongly at the conjecture that these sightings may well be quite routine, and that astronauts were simply sworn to secrecy due to the undeterminable nature of these UFOs. After all, true or not, confirmed or unconfirmed,
they'll probably kill their family members
or
such, man, if
they
say
taken wrongly by the public, which makes NASA's decision to keep it under the rug understandable to a degree. Number 3. The Zero Return Policy Part 2. Imaging via sensors and photo capture tools is standard procedure among many robotic probes, even when the target is as near as the moon. The L-Cross mission in 2009, however, took a rather different approach. Instead of going to the costly route of digging via surface rover or lander, the main shepherding probe, along with the initial Centaur stage impact, was set to directly crash on the moon. It had one simple objective: to excavate the moon and find water. There were a few peculiar points to the planned crash of the L-Cross to the moon. First is that water has already been confirmed earlier by the Chandrayaan-1 probe, which was the go signal that greenlit the mission. Second, a miscalculation caused the resulting plumes from the crash to be far less than anticipated. Third, the impact was almost never noticed by any other observing body or instrument. yet it was confirmed that it had successfully impacted the moon's surface according to NASA. Prearranged coordination, miscalculation on a nearby celestial body, and an impact never ever seen or detected by anyone else? As benign as the mission actually was, there certainly were hidden variables that inevitably pointed to yet another one of NASA's alleged cover-ups. Number 2. Pixel glitching. Interruptions aside, deliberately hiding something from the public can be as simple as dismissing something as a digital anomaly. The year is again 2016. NASA was transmitting images delivered by the Soho spacecraft. In one particular part of the video feed, there was a peculiar square-like object that covered a small part of the sun. The reports detail that it seemed or looked like it was a large Earth vessel, and that it could have been within the sun's vicinity to extract energy from its photosphere. Other analysts conclude that it was a mere pixel glitch, an artifact anomaly caused by certain imperfections in the transmitted visual data.
No glitch.
Some UFOologists, however, took it one step further and claimed that the pixel glitching was actually deliberate and was there to hide something behind that obscured square artifact. What could possibly be hidden behind the pixel glitched portion? I think we already know the pattern at this point. It is worth mentioning, though, that Soho had also detected several more anomalies well outside the area of the sun. One of them was a tiny UFO streaked and trailed by a sort of white matter. Was this the energy extraction procedure they were talking about?
You get some energy from the sun.
The most outrageous example on this list, I'd like to remind you to subscribe to Be Amazed. We upload amazing fact-filled videos every day, so don't miss out on learning some amazing new information. Also, hit that bell icon for notifications on more amazing fact-filled videos. Number 1. Live feed cuts.
There we go.
Perhaps the worst case of NASA deliberately trying to hide something was during an actual live video feed from the International Space Station. For example, in July 2016, a live feed of the ISS showed some strange light. Shortly after the UFO passed, the live feed was suddenly cut off, much to the dismay of almost 4 million viewers at that time. The incident was first pointed out by YouTuber StreetCap1 in a video where the details of the event were presented. As if NASA hadn't learned their lesson, another live feed was abruptly cut, this time during January of 2017. It showed another UFO rising above the planet's atmosphere, this time in the form of an extended beam. This incident was pointed out by John Craddock, who is reportedly an avid viewer of ISS live feeds. On both occasions, NASA seems to have made the decision to cut the live feed, presumably in order for the public not to witness already these weird developments getting even weirder.
Yeah, because most people already know.
As some people have noticed, UFOs are also apparently very good at knowing when the ISS is about to reach the far side of its communication age.
So there you go, everybody, man. If y'all enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up. That's crazy. I mean, why do they cut the live feed if it ain't nothing to hide out there in space? Ask that question. They got to be hiding something, right? Right. Because I feel the same way that y'all feel. Ain't no way you just gonna cut a live feed just for no reason. And you can't say it was no technical difficulty, because when you look at the video and then you see something out the ordinary, and then they just cut. Come on, it don't go down like that. But if y'all enjoyed it, man, leave some thumbs up once again. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. If y'all have some video for me to do reaction to, leave them in the comment section. I do look at the comments almost every day. With that being said, I'm out this thing. Peace. Yeah, that's me playing the game.